welcome to the Lusaka Star Radio Magazine program, a program which discusses issues affecting our communities. I'm your presenter, Godwin Lungo, and you, our dear listeners, are always part of the program by dialing the numbers 0211 29 34 35. That's 0211 29 34 35. The number for your text messages 0965 830 or better still, you can come through via our Unza Radio Facebook page. Like the page, you find it up the status, comment on it, and of course we'll be able to read your comments just like that. So your live calls, the number is 0211 29 34 35. Text messages on 0965 830 you can as well come through via our Unza Radio Facebook page. This morning, we are discussing national governance, and my guest is a Democratic Party Lusaka Deputy Youth Chairperson for Lusaka Province, Mr. Lazarous Simukoko. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. Godwin, and good morning to our listeners.
Unfortunately, Tanzania and Africa are mourning the passing on of John Pombe Magufuli, the son of a peasant farmer who became Tanzanian president in 2015.
Well, it is sad to the people of Tanzania, and it's sad to Africa at large, because the president stood for what was right. He was never interested in titles. He was never interested, even him being called general, even him being called who, but he stood for the people of Tanzania. And that is why in a nation like Tanzania, Tanzania is mourning. But we have had presidents across this Africa and also this world inclusive, where when a president dies, people celebrate. That simply means we have got more to offer when you are still alive than when you die, because when you die, it is the legacy that will remain. Just like the way we have continued to mourn President Mwanawasa in this country, just like the way we have continued to mourn President Michael Chirufiasat, and may their souls continue resting in peace. And also allow me to say congratulations once again to the president who be sworn in Tanzania by the name of Hassan. The president will take over because in accordance to their constitution, immediately the president dies, then the vice is supposed to take over.
Yeah, they have a running mate clause as well, just like Zambia. So there will be no presidential elections in Tanzania.
Yes.
Okay, let's get to what we have this morning. We are discussing national governance. But before that, Madam Judith Kabemba is your new vice president.
Absolutely. And we are very much happy for our mother. You know, she has stood up for us. I remember at some point whenever I'm giving a speech, she would call me to say, Lazarus, let's see what you have prepared for the youth in Lusaka. Let's see what you have prepared for the youth across the country. And I always go there. She's the person who is always submissive. She's the person who always understands what the people are going through. So for us, we are proud for her appointment. We are also proud for the way Mr. President, our President, Mr. Hari Kalaba, has managed to handle the party. It's not easy to grow the party to this level where it has reached, and I'm confidently reporting to the people of Zambia saying, come August, we are going to carry the day. Having the mother on our side, and people, of course, have been questioning to say, what kind of a tribe is she? Where does she come from? Allow me to mention that just because she's carrying the name of Kabemba, that she's Bemba, no. The father is Lamba, and the mother is Kaonde. So she's Lamba as well as Kaonde. So we are embarking on diversity, whereby we need to make sure that we are bridging up the gap where every person is supposed to be inclusive. Apart from that, also allow me to mention that our political party in itself, when we look at our women's chair lead, national women's chair lead, Madam Majori Mutakwa, she's coming from Southern Province. When we look at our deputy spokesperson, Madam Mondesi Shekano, she's also coming from Western Province. So it is a situation whereby we have got a province, or we have got a constituency which is well spiced up when it comes to this leadership. Even when you look at our provincial, Lusaka Province Chairman, Mr. Victor Mwale, is coming from Eastern Province. So you can see that we are having people all across these provinces. We are having people who are coming from all across this country, and they have managed to join the party, and indeed we are moving at a greater pace.
Maybe someone may also be asking, who is your SG?
Our SG is Madam Precious Intambu, who comes from Northwestern Province. She is also our mother. She has stood up for the party. And as I'm speaking, yesterday when she knew that I'm coming on radio, she called me to say good luck, and that is what it is all about, where young people are being considered, where we have got women also are being put in strategic positions in the political party. Just like the way we have got our deputy spokesperson who is a woman, we have got our vice president who is a woman, we have got our own secretary general, for us we call them national secretary, who is also a woman. So when we are having such kind of a leadership, it becomes a good thing. For us, we have managed to embark on inclusiveness. Even when we look at the youth themselves, me as Simukoko Lazarous, I'm the youth. Of course, I'm the youth. I'm not only called the youth chairperson, not that I'm above the age of a youth, no. So even when you look at our national youth chairperson, that is Mr. Mianda, who resides in Southern Province, is also a youth. When you look at also the person who is seconding him, Mr. Gilbert, is also a youth who is based now in Lusaka. So that is all about the entire leadership in Democratic Party.
Yesterday, the Electoral Commission of Zambia gave us the revised calendar, which all of us have to follow, leading to the 12th of August 2021. How is the mood?
The mood is okay, and it's well overwhelming. When you look at the way ECZ has operated, allow me to say ECZ has even tried to reach this moment, because ECZ has been stretched to the point where they were being given inadequate resources. They are not given enough funds for them to conduct their activities, and that is why even the government today, as we are speaking, it is still owes ECZ. But for ECZ to reach at this point, we were not even expecting that ECZ can reach up to this point in regarding the preparation of the general elections. But today, we are even seeing these improvements that are going on, which is a very good thing. And allow me also to mention to you, Mr. Godwin, to say quite a number of political parties are shaken when it comes to this grade 12 certificate. For us in Democratic Party, we are not shaken. For us in Democratic Party, it's a very good move. Positions are kalamba. Today, as we are speaking, when you look at how this country is being governed now, it is a situation whereby the priorities now, it's not even to the people of Zambia. The priority is now given to the same people who are in these positions. They are not even considering who the people of Zambia, what the people of Zambia are going through. But at the moment, as we are speaking, when you look at how this country has been so far, it has not been operating effectively. Today, as we are speaking, a lot of them are saying, no, the grade 12 is segregating those people. What about those who have wisdom? Allow me also to say that even those people who have a grade 12 certificate, they can have wisdom. It is not like that, like when a person in that constituency, in that ward, is calling an MP, or is calling the MP or the councillor to say, we have got this kind of a problem, that because those MPs or those councillors have resources, the reason as to why they call them, but because they believe that the leader is above them. For me, I believe that a leader is supposed to be a bit higher than the people is ruling or the people is governing. So having a grade 12 certificate on board will improve efficiency, will make sure that even the concentration of these people, when you go in that parliament, the only thing that we see, they only does, they only shout, yeah. But a person who has managed to obtain that grade 12 certificate, a person who was managing to be in class from morning up to evening, cannot doze for those few hours which they are given in that parliament. And I feel that this is a very good move which ECZ has taken.
It is a very good move which ECZ has taken, according to you. But, of course, we've seen how many young people have been passing. A number of them, of course, it's through leakage. Don't you think that in itself, putting a grade 12 certificate as a maximum, because according to the constitution, it was supposed to be a minimum, but with the Constitutional Court ruling coming through, and with the way that ECZ has put it, it seems it's a minimum. It's a maximum. You can't file the nomination without G12. So it may be a minimum stroke or maximum. Now, what of those that have got the knowledge? They used their own wisdom and they couldn't pass. And you had someone who used the leakage and passed.
For me, I don't know. Through my experience, I've never seen somebody who has passed through leakage. For me, what I believe in is competency. The only problem.
Are you sure you haven't met someone who has
only
passed through
problem
leakage?
that we have in this country is that we don't appreciate passing. Even the grade 7s, the way they were writing exams, some of them were saying, no, you are not supposed to celebrate because others have passed. No. When it comes to things like celebrating, we celebrate because you have made it, not because your friend has failed. What we are looking at this moment, others of course might use wisdom and they failed to pass. We weren't good. But for the fact that they were taught the same things, for the fact that even when it comes to farming, even when it comes to all these things or the duties that we have, here at Unza Lejo, Mr. Godwin, you also know, even the manager for this studio is aware to say, oh, if I give this task to Mr. Godwin, he's going to do it much better than the other person. If I give this duty to this person, it's going to do it much better than the other one. That is the society that we are in. We have got people who are a bit competent, and those who are more competent, and those who are incompetent. So for the fact that others didn't make it, I'm not trying to insult their integrity. Neither am I trying to demean them. What I'm trying to say is it is not too late. This is a wake-up call for everybody who wants to contest. The best they can do, there is still chance, Mr. Godwin. Even the Bible in the book of Job reminds us to say there is still hope in a tree, in an old tree that has been cut, to manifest and germinate like a young plant. The best they can do is to wait for the exams to come. They sit for them, immediately they pass, they can contest in 2026. That is the only thing that I can say.
We have situations here. I understand leadership is not about qualifications, but it's the ability. It's God-given. There are people that are good leaders, but they couldn't reach grade 12. Not that they wanted, but circumstances.
Let me hold you a bit back there, Mr. Godwin. Not all leadership come from God. In the book of Hosea, chapter 8, verses 4, it says, you have raised kings and queens for your own. You see? When you look at the Bible itself, we had the Israelites, we also had the Egyptians. When you look at Pharaoh, Pharaoh was a leader. Did that leader come from God? So let us not deal with the issue to say, no, leadership come from God. Of course we appreciate, but not all leaders come from God. Others, I don't know where they come from. We had people like Goliath, we had people like Pharaoh.
That's the reason why I'm saying leadership, it's about the ability you have. It's inborn in you. It's God-given. In as much as you'd want to run away from it, leadership is God-given. But there are people that are truly leaders, but they don't have the qualification.
The question
simply because maybe, I don't want us to dwell much on the Bible, but I'm trying to talk about reality here. There are people who lost their parents.
Yes.
At the time, they were in grade 6, grade 7, and the people that were left with them couldn't sponsor them further. And these people do not have the necessary qualifications, but they have the ability to lead. Where are you placing them?
It is very much important that you have raised that point. But at the moment, let us look at this. Why do we have cutoff points in schools? This is to make sure that we reach a benchmark, because the moment we say leadership is open, and that is why even the people who contest, they manage to pay that nomination fee. Immediately you do so, you are not allowing every G1 Jack to contest. What am I trying to say? It is sad also, you have mentioned, to say there are some people who have not acquired education because of certain circumstances. It is right in that order. Then that is also a wake-up call to say the government has not been working tirelessly to ensure that the people themselves who have lost their parents, the people who have no means to access education, they access them. Because if the government was concerned about the orphans, if the government was concerned about even all these people who are failing to sponsor themselves, the government was supposed to take it up to them to say, I need to go further. We need to go further as the government to ensure that we help these orphans. Allow me also to mention that during the time of Mwanawasa, it is President Mwanawasa who initiated these empowerment funds. He came up with all these things so that person who is selling talk time in these streets, all those people who are in this country, who are failing to access education, they were given chance to access education. When you look at UNZA itself, we look at CBU itself, the people who must qualify for bursary are those people who have no means of raising the money. But today what we are seeing are the children or the people who are coming from the homes of permanent secretaries, the people or the children who are coming from the homes of the ministers who have been given these bursaries. Then where are you going to place the orphans? Where are you going to place all these people who have no any means of making sure that they get what they deserve? Of course they are supposed to be educated. For the fact that they are not, because they were lacking resources. That is why we have got the bursaries committee, Mr. Godwin. What is the bursaries committee doing in regards to make sure that all these people who are not educated because they have no resources get educated? Where have they gone to? Is it because only those children with who are coming from rich backgrounds are the ones who are being sponsored?
You are concentrating on the tertiary education.
Yes.
But let's look at the secondary education, because that has become a qualification for one to contest for parliamentary, local government, mayoral, or possibly a president. Obviously, for it's a qualification for a political leadership now. We have a number of schools out there, but a lot of the young people are not being schooled. I don't want to use the word educated, because there is a difference between being schooled and being educated. Today, this qualification has become, a lot of people have been schooled instead of being educated.
Of course, Mr. Godwin.
So don't you think this qualification will bring a lot of people who have been schooled without knowledge, but because they have a grade 12 certificate, they will enjoy their money and mess up the country?
Then you are going to leave it to the people, because at the end of the day, one can be qualified to contest and not being qualified to be a leader. So the people will decide when it comes to that point. But what I was trying to do in regards to tertiary education is that the same way, if we had a government which was considerate, the same way they have managed to place sponsorships of which they are not even existing to the poor people or the orphans, they are supposed to come up with means and ways in which they can be able to sponsor these people who are going to school in grade 10, those who are failing to access grade 10, those who are failing to access grade 8, and all those who are failing to access grade 1. What does that mean? It means the same way the government managed to come up with the bursaries committee for tertiary education, they can come up with also bursaries for those who are in general education. What has made them to fail? It's lack of leadership. The moment they realize that they need to give more to the people, or they improve the skills of the people, it can be okay, Mr. Godwin. Let us look at Singapore itself. Singapore, which doesn't have gold, doesn't have copper. Of course, they have not managed to do much in the type of education that we have in this country or in Africa. What they did in that country, they made sure that they started improving the skills of the people who are living in that country. And at that moment, it was Singapore's people who were making sure that they start making these computers, they start making these phones. How did they come up with those phones? It's because the government at that moment realized that despite of us not having these natural resources, the natural resources lies in our people, and that is why we are seeing Singapore is doing fine. It was in 1978 when China decided to say we are going to develop through agriculture. In 1973, it was President Kaunda who went to Japan to ensure that he had to put up an industry per village. He signed that document. But where are we as a nation? During the time of UNIP, Mr. Godwin, we were seeing industries all across the nation. Why did this do so? He was making sure that people are having money. You can't have money in your pockets minus having the jobs. And the PF will be telling you, Mr. Godwin, saying that, no, the reason why we don't have jobs, it's because the economy is not growing. Mr. Godwin, it is not the growing of an economy which determines how many people to employ, but it is how many people you are employing which will determine at which rate the economy will be growing at. At the moment, there is nothing of that kind, and that is why all these people are leaders who will not be eligible to contest. They should vote out PF because they have not done much in terms of educating them.
Let's get to the nominations. Obviously, a lot of people have applied for adoption on the DP ticket. You are just from telling me in the background that all the constituencies in Lusaka have been flooded by the people that want to contest on those various constituencies.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll mention it to you to say, in Chawama, so far, we have received more than 5 applications. When you go to Kanyama constituents, we have received more than 4 applications. When you go to Lufunsa, Kafyue, when you go even to Chongwe, we look at Mandevu, Matero, we look at all this, even Munadi. A number of people have applied, and that is why what we have done as Democratic Party, not the way others claim to say that they are poor parties. What we have done as Democratic Party, we know that there are hardships when it comes to the economy. We are the hardships when it comes to the way these people are relating with life. What have we done? We have made sure to say, despite of ECZ having those challenges, of course they had to reduce fees, nomination fees at that moment. But what we have done as Democratic Party, we have ensured that all those people who are contesting as MPs, they are only paying a 500 kwacha. All those people who are contesting as council chairpersons and councillors, they're only paying a 200 kwacha. So MPs and mayors, they are paying a 500 kwacha. And all those people who are contesting as councillors and chairpersons, council chairpersons, they are only paying a 200 kwacha. The moment we do so, we are not only restricting them, because at the moment, if you put the nomination fees or adoption fees in short, to be at 5,000 kwacha, to be at 10,000 kwacha, where are you putting those people who are qualified, yet they don't have means of raising that kind of money? Where are you putting them? But at least, Mr. Godwin, even these young people want to contest as MPs. Today in this country, over 60% of the people who are living here are youths. And we know that the youth currently, over 55.5%, they don't have employment. That employment that they don't have, it means they are not going to have ways and means to raise that 5,000 kwacha, to raise that 10,000 kwacha. But immediately you say, if you want to contest as MP, you are supposed to pay 500 kwacha. That young person can even borrow from his own family members. That person can even ask from his own father, from his own mother, from his own relatives. But where can you think my father, my mother will place me when I say I'm asking for a 5,000 because I want to be adopted?
Let me deliberately ask you this question.
Yes.
Are you going to be giving these candidates the money for nominations?
What we are looking
when you
at
adopt
now,
them?
When we adopt them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When we adopt them, it will be now a deliberate policy which we are going to use. How is this money going to be paid? And that is why, as a provincial team, let us look at Lusaka province. Let us look at Copper Belt province. We are going to sit and interview the people, because we are yet to adopt any, but we have only received applications. And interviewing them in as far as Lusaka province is concerned will be starting next week. The moment we do so, we are going to sit down with those candidates. We start looking at how their financial muscle is. If they don't have money, they don't have enough money, we can say, oh, how much are you going to manage for these nomination fees? If that person says, I can manage, we are going to say, well and good, you can come. If that person says, no, I have got deficit with so much, we are going to say, okay, we are going to see how we are going to help you as a province. We are going to see how we are going to help you as a district. So it's a 50-50 thing. When we are done with the interviews, we are going to know the capacity of the individual who has applied. The moment that individual says, since the nomination fee to the ECZ is 15,000, we are going to know how much can you raise from 15,000. If that person is raising that, remember, leadership is about service and not money or any power from outside apart from the power you are seeking for. So what we are standing on as Democratic Party is to ensure that we include that youth who is coming from Misisi. We include that youth who is coming from Karingalinga. We include that youth who is coming from, or even this Chainda, Kanyama, so that they come on board, so that they can lead the people in the way
Let me ask you this other question. Who is funding Democratic Party?
I think that is not important, but I can say we don't have money.
For now,
Listen,
for now,
let me answer.
For now, it's important.
For now,
then,
it's important.
Then
for
it
now,
was not important.
For now,
but now, because whatever activity that will be carried between now, starting today, and 12 August requires money. These people that will be adopted, they will be required to pay money for filing of their nominations. Number one, from day one, they will start campaigning. During the campaigns, we know what happens. You don't just gather people for free.
Mr. Godwin, a united home is a prosperous home. What we have realized in Democratic Party, it's not how much we have, but what kind of a message that we are giving. Today I'm going to tell you to say, in this country, if we are more than 10,000 people who are occupying this position and we say, oh, since it is service, let us contribute 100 kwacha, we are going to do so. Mr. Sata, he never had enough money. But what made Mr. Sata to win? It's the message and not how much money he had. I can remember very well Mr. Godwin. Mr. Sata would go with a drum with his team. While they are campaigning, they tell people to say, if you want me to be the president, contribute 2 kwacha. They were doing so. But at the moment, Mr. Godwin, the reason why you have said that you can't gather people for free, it's because you have seen a certain person from somewhere, because they are giving them money. You also think that to say any person, any group in which is gathering, they are supposed to be given something. What the people of Zambia needs to realize at this moment, it's not about how much they are receiving at what point. It's about how long is that thing which they are receiving going to take them to. Today, Mr. Godwin,
Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, you know, you may talk of what maybe other political parties are doing, but this trend has not started now. Even if you don't give the people that have gathered money, but for you to go and meet them, you need money. You need fuel. You need a vehicle. The people that surrounds you, your entourage, they don't just follow you for free, for nothing.
Mr. Godwin, the best resource that we have in Democratic Party is unity. I can't lie to the people of Zambia that we have a lot of money. Neither can I even say we have few money. What I can tell you at the moment is what has made us to remain strong from inception up to this point. It is the unity that we have embraced. We have embraced to say the moment you are united, somebody can, even in a home, when you see that you are united, that is why you'll be seen. Somebody can go out, he comes back with salt. Somebody goes out, he comes back with meal. That is what it is all about. But a home which is not united, Mr. Godwin, you'll be seen, we are in the restaurant at the Aeka, the other person goes to restaurant, eats alone, they come back, in that order. What has made us to reach this far, Mr. Godwin? It's unity. We believe that where we have come from, it's a long journey, and what we are remaining with, it's a simplest journey. But tough, of course, but we have got few time remaining for us to be in government this August. So what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Godwin, at the moment is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Just be the same way Mr. Sata made it when he had no money, but he had packaged his message well. We are also going to do the same.
Before we talk about your message, how is the membership? Like, out of the 9 million voters that we have, is it 9 or 8.2 million voters that we have? How many members do you have as Democratic Party? Let's just concentrate on Lusaka, because Lusaka, according to the figures that I have here, Lusaka's got 1,241,992 voters. Out of this number here, how many are in Democratic Party?
Mr. Godwin, allow me to mention to you to say, each structure or each branch that we have, Mr. Godwin, it has got leaders who are up to which number? state, those are only leaders, people holding positions, not members of the branch. So, and you have got branches all across the nation. Okay? So now, how many branches are we having in Kanyama constituencies alone? We are not talking about words now. We are creating branches. Remember, you can create a branch here, another one there. These are the people only in leadership. 30 of them per branch.
So how many branches do you have in Kanyama?
In Kanyama constituency itself, we have got more than 90 branches. 90 branches. Multiply that 30 multiplied by 90. Those are our own leaders. Now look at the members themselves. How many members are in that one? Because you can't have a structure, Mr. Godwin. You can't have a branch, Mr. Godwin, which is only consisting of leaders. Leaders must have people to lead. That is the point. So that is only at branch level. At what level also? We also have the same number. At constituency level also, we have the same number in strategic positions. And that is why we have also come up with the media team for Lusaka province alone. Luapula province has got its own media team. Now, tell me how many. I can't even count, Mr. Godwin. Limbinama figures are part by ICZ Limbiabu fee. Otherwise, we have got people. The people that we are having at the moment, Mr. Godwin, believe you me, when that day comes of voting, I'm going to be glad you come here just after election to say, indeed, you have won because you said it. Because that is what we are looking at the moment. When it comes to 12th August, Democratic Party is winning. President Hadi Kalaba is going to be the president of this nation.
So you are saying you've got the numbers?
A lot of numbers. I believe you me. Others have.
So out of 1 million,
listen, Mr. Godwin, just a minute, Mr. Godwin, before you proceed. We have numbers on paper already. We also have people according to say, don't worry, as we are marketeers, as we operate in these bus stations, the moment we show that we belong to the Democratic Party, it will be hard for us. So even when you see us lazy in symbols, pawato, don't worry, we are with you. What will speak the loudest is not the noise that we are making in streets, but what will speak the loudest, it's when we go in the ballot box. Because they know what I'm talking about here. Even those marketeers who are in these markets, even these bus operators, they know that they have suffered enough. The only alternative that they have is the alternative of Democratic Party, President Hadi Kalaba and Madam Vice President Madam Judith Kabemba. That is the only alternative they have. At the moment as we are speaking, Mr. Godwin, do not be moved. Do not be moved. When you see people chanting Pawato, all those people, what is speaking to them? It's not what is coming out. Because they are only doing that to safeguard their jobs. They are only doing that to feed their family. Because that person is out to say, immediately they see me supporting this political party, Democratic Party, of course, I'm not going to be at PC. Where will I be getting money to feed my family? Where will I be getting the money to make sure that I'm able to sustain even my relatives? And that is why we are saying Democratic Party has numbers. Because today, as I can tell you, Mr. Godwin, there are two lists already. The list of those people who we know that they are already in the structure, Mr. Godwin, and those who are saying, don't worry, we are with you. We have put all their details so that it will help us, Mr. Godwin, for statistics' sake. That is why today, as I'm speaking, when you look at that figure which is there, 1 million and something, 1 million to the other number apart from 1 million, 1 million we are getting it, the other number others are going to share in that order. But for us as Democratic Party, we are well aware of what is happening on the ground. If we tatulange into
is that Godwin, confidence fake or maybe it's real?
Mr. Godwin, Ibuluma Tairia. Let me tell you something.
Looking at the numbers that we had in 2016,
yes.
We had about 1 million registered voters in 2016.
Yes.
And out of that 1 million, the Patriotic Front got about 350,000. UPND got about 250,000. That was in 2016.
Yes.
In total, if you add UPND 250, PF 350, that is how much? About 6.
Mr. Godwin,
it's about 600. So out of the 1 million, the two political parties shared about 600 votes.
Yes.
And you are saying you are capable of putting or getting the entire 1 million.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Let me tell you these facts which are here, Mr. Godwin. Let me tell you these facts which are here. Some of us have come from the background where we have been growing in the political environment. Today, Mr. Godwin, a person of my age is not even doing politics. If you can check around, few people are doing it. So when I tell you to say this is what is going to happen, don't say I'm a prophet when that thing happens. But what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Godwin, let's forget about 2016. We are not going to go back to 2016. Yeah, repeated, yeah. And the same people were there. GP wasn't in existence in 2016. GP wasn't in existence. So all those people are saying that, no, that was 2016. If 2016, what happened is this. No, these people have stayed wrong in opposition. No. What am I trying to tell you here? It is not about how long you have stayed in a political party, Mr. Godwin. It is not about how you have managed to make the people of Zambia suffer that they can vote you back. What is needed at the moment, Mr. Godwin, is to look at a political party which has the greatest message, Mr. Godwin. And that is why in Democratic Party, we have made it very clear, Mr. Godwin. We have said, the moment we come into power, we are going to ensure that we cancel the debts for our civil servants. And some of the people are even saying, no, President Adi Kalaba, you are just trying to play politics. No, Lazarus, you are just trying to play politics. Madam Judith Kawemba, you just want to play politics. And all them, what are we going to say? The best question can be, how are we going to do it? We are going to ensure that we use debt swap. Debt swap. When you look at Zanaco itself, Zanaco is sitting on the land of Zambia. When you look at Zanaco owes the Ministry of Lands. When you know that Zanaco owes the Ministry of Lands, you are going to say, oh, how much is Zanaco owing the Ministry of Lands? And then you look at the people who are working in that Zanaco. You say, how many people are working here? Okay, it's this number. So you're going to say, okay, the money that you are supposed to pay to Ministry of Lands, offset it with the people who are owing you. That simply means that civil servant is going to be free. Which other means are we going to use? Barclays Bank and Zanaco, they interchange, okay? Zanaco workers can be able to go and borrow from Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank workers can borrow from Zanaco. What does that mean? It means both institutions are owing each other. What are we going to do? Both of those things are staying or are being built or were built on the land of Zambia. The moment we know that, oh, this is what is happening, these two institutions are owing the Ministry of Lands. That's what we are going to do. Which other alternative are we going to do in order for us to offset or to make sure that we cancel the loans of these civil servants? We have got what we call long working hours, Mr. Godwin. What we are going to do is, if the worker reports at 08 hours, at work, we are going to tell them to say, no, for you owe the government, or you have got this kind of a loan. What we are going to do to you is that you are going to be reporting at 7 hours. And maybe if they knock off at 17, we are going to tell them you'll be knocking off at 18 hours. Instead of them working those, taking the salary of that overtime, we are going to say the salary, you are not going to get it. Instead, it is going to be used to offset the loans that you have accumulated. All these ideas are there, and you are going to tell me to say, why are you not advising the government? Here where I'm speaking from, Mr. Godwin, this is not a secret place. But the problem is that it requires character. It requires the leadership which has got the understanding of how civil service works. And that is why Mr. Adi Kalaba has been a civil servant for 10 years. Immediately we realize to say, oh, this person understands how civil service works. This is how it will be done. I've explained how we are going to cut the loans for these civil servants. Apart from that, Mr. Godwin, for that civil servant to have dignity is to ensure that the dollar kwacha rate reduces. How is the dollar kwacha rate going to reduce, Mr. Godwin? The dollar kwacha rate will reduce only when we start exporting. Today, as we are speaking, the president of Ghana, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has restricted the exportation of cocoa, and that is why they will be they will be processing their own cocoa within that country. In Zambia, as we are speaking, what we are going to do for kwacha dollar rate to reduce, we are going to ensure that we are making our own clothes. We are making our own juice in this country. When you look at Congo itself, a bag of minimum to sell it in Congo, it's about 25 US dollars. 25 US dollars. Now tell me, today the kwacha per dollar rate is 22 kwacha. The moment you sell a bag of meal as $25 to that Congo, that is telling you to say we are going to have enough what? Foreign reserves in our banks. The moment you do so, if you are exporting, the kwacha dollar rate is going to reduce. The moment you do so, when you create these industries in this country, Mr. Godwin, you are going to make sure that in Kalingalinga there is an industry, in Kanyama there is an industry, in provinces like Mandevu, Matero, even in Copper Belt, we look at Ruapula, all those provinces are going to have these industries. The moment they have these industries, those industries, they are going to be required. They will require workers to be working there. Not these people who are seen, the Chinese who are only doing our roads. What Democratic Party will do in regards to infrastructure, not this infrastructure which we are seeing with inflated figures, what we are going to do, we are going to put up a training center, Mr. Godwin, which will be teaching these graduates from UNZA, from CBU, from Mukuba University, so that these people, they start training on how they can be able to do these roads. The moment they come on board, instead of you, Mr. Godwin, going to China to import manpower to come and do our roads here, it will be the thing of the past. Today, our presidents, today, our politicians, they go to India, they go to South Africa. In South Africa, Tabako Atanensonia Pokele independence in 1994. What we are going to do as Democratic Party in power, we are going to ensure that if you are a student of medicine or you are doing medicine, since it is 6 years, it has been reduced at UNZA, we are going to ensure that 3 years it's been done here in Zambia. And then the other 3 years, people are supposed to do it in countries like China, in countries like India. That simply means immediately that student who is going to be a doctor or a professor comes back in this country, his working category will be placed under the category of doctors in India. It will be placed like doctors in Japan, doctors in Singapore, doctors in Vietnam. Immediately all that is done, Mr. Godwin, we are not going to be seen politicians, rich people, to go to India, to go to Japan, to go to China for specialized treatment. Because the kind of services they'll be looking for in that India, the kind of services they'll be looking for in that China, it will be right here in Zambia. The moment it is here in Zambia, we are going to attract also foreign reserves. How are we going to do it? Malawi, Congo, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Namibia, all those countries will be seeking for medical care in this country because we are going to have the health facility which is improved like the way the health facility is improved in India, is improved in China. Not the kind of mediocre we are seeing where these hospitals, all these clinics are supplied with fake medicines from honey bee, and that is where we stand as Democratic Party.
As we open the lines, of course, we have the debt situation in Zambia standing at $27 billion according to World Bank. Of course, Zambia's defaulted. We are getting into the August 12 general elections with debt behind our back. Whichever political party that will form government, of course, they will inherit this debt. It has to be paid by whoever will be voted into office. With what you have explained, and with the debt situation in Zambia, how long should the people of Zambia give DP within that range of 5 years before you do all these things?
Mr. Godwin, today as we are speaking, even for these countries, our donor countries, countries like UK, countries like America, they are now preferring giving money to NGOs, non-governmental organizations, to administer the money. They are even failing to give the government. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Where the government is now not being trusted by outside donors. What does that mean? What does that mean to a nation? It means the NGOs are more competent. What I'm trying to say is, when you look at the NGOs in this country, non-governmental organization, not imposers.
Maybe you can give an example of one.
No, it doesn't matter. They know themselves. You know, any organization which will fit in the shoe of what I've said, they can wear it. What I'm trying to say at the moment, Mr. Godwin, is that the countries like UK, countries they are like America, they are now preferring giving money to our NGOs than the government. What am I trying to say, Mr. Godwin? For you to set up an industry, right here, we produce copper. Countries like Argentina also produces copper. In Argentina, they make stoves, Mr. Godwin. Yet we have failed to take an embassy in Argentina. Yet we are putting embassies in countries that are not even adding value to our nation. What can we do when it comes to China, to Argentina? We can go to China, sign a memorandum of understanding, Mr. Godwin, and tell them to say, we want you to help us set up an industry in Zambia, which will be able to produce stoves just like the way you have done. As we are waiting to train our own people in this country, since we are going to set up our own, since we are going to sign the memorandum of understanding, the students from UNZA and Mukuba University, including UNZA and all these universities, can be going to Argentina to learn how to make these stoves. As they are doing that, Mr. Godwin, the people in this country, the country like China, will set up an industry, and then we are going to tell them, to say, in this industry you are creating only the people of higher position, and we must allow 60% of Zambians to occupy those positions. Immediately we do so. What is required at the moment, Mr. Godwin, is to give confidence to an investor. When we give that confidence to an investor, the industries which will be set up in this country, they can even be set up minus Zambia using its own resources, minus Zambia borrowing anywhere. Today, as we are speaking, let us look at the digital migration. Digital migration, Mount Choice gave us a choice a choice as Zambia, saying we can be able to migrate from analog to digital with only 50,000 US dollars. What did the government do? The government went ahead to borrow about 1.6 billion just on digital migration. And that figure, they can challenge me. Zambia had spent more on digital migration all across this SADC region. Why did they do so? They failed to make sure that they go from analog to digital only for free. And they said, no, we are going to borrow. When you look at Ndola, Lusaka Ndola Road, the road that we have, the companies came on board to say, we are going to do this for free. We are going to involve private-public partnership. They are going to do this at a free price or at a cheaper price. What did the government do? The government said, that to the fire, we are going to borrow from China. Oh, you are going to borrow. Now pay back. All these things have been on board. But the problem is that we have got the government which does not want to stand with the people of Zambia. And the question of us is that how long will it take, Mr. Godwin? It only requires a month to gain investors' confidence. Immediately you do so. We can even do debt swap. We do all that. As I'm speaking today, Mr. Godwin, we have got workers who are working in China. People who are in Zambia living in China, they are working there. What we can do, Mr. Godwin, is to ensure that we train our teachers from here. We train our doctors from here. They go and start working in China. Instead of them being paid by the Chinese government, it is the Zambian government which will be paying them. The moment the Zambian government is paying the workers who are, the Zambians who are working in China, the Zambians who are working even in this America, all those people, they can be used as tools to pay that debt. But the problem that we have, I'm not saying that they'll be working for free. If we get these teachers, if we get these doctors, we say, oh, China, we have got our resource here, which is manpower. We want not them going there and being mistreated, and that is why we are going to ensure that we put up a firm minister in the Ministry of Labor. Immediately we do so, Mr. Godwin. It doesn't require you to get money to pay them. Instead, you'll be paying the workers slowly by you arranging with the people who are working there. And as simple as that.
Let's pick calls. 0211-293435 is the number for live call. Your text messages on 0965830293. Better still, you can come through via our Unza Radio Facebook page. Our first caller, good morning.
Godwin.
Yes, Dr. Proud, how are you?
Wawakabanyi mnyamata atindani mfano wa kudipiwe.
Simukoko Proud.
Lazarous. For example, Godwin, my political party muno Zambia ali jabe abiri. Yaba hari Kalawa na yaba HH. Belesti asala ya ni masapota PF. So I conga with you and your president Kalawa. You can't see I'm joking. For example, Inspector General Wakanganja can say, you kada don't demonstrate on the street. But PF are demonstrating in the street. 2 days ago, they were in Komesa, Bapagingama Motok. We can't see Wakapogola Papupia, but in the office, Wakala Baba Saguja. Office part of Payus Day, Wakapogola Napaka Motok attack. So, near what is Zambia in Namalamurabidi, even that statement, Mombipiri should. Who say no, why is Mumanga Boman or some? It was a Kulama Kuja. They were denying opposition. No one can arrest Bowman Rusambo.
Mukosirizi are proud.
Right now, citizen of Peshaba Mumbepere, Tapena Yabandani, our president Walunga Tikapeza Garden Namoto Katiba Pushina, but the choice in Yakut, Apunika Kuyenda, the Bapatiao, Yadurisa Unga.
Zigomo Kwambiri, Dr. Proud, your time is up. 0211 29 34 35. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my brother.
Yes, Mr. Chof, you can go ahead with your comment.
Fantastic. Good morning, brother. There.
Good morning, Mr. Chofi.
Fantastic. I think for me, my brother, I differ with you, especially when you say that President Hari Kalawa is popular. Why I say so? I remember when Honorable Chimba Kambwiri lost his seat in Iran. Because of his popular, he was boasting to be popular. He had to fill in an NDC MP. And he won because he was popular. He took development in Iran. But now, what happened to President Kalawa in Bahati? When he to that seat, he failed to put an MP for DP. Why did he fail to put an MP for DP? To me, I think it was not popular. He's not popular in Bahati, and he didn't take development in Bahati, so he felt to be embarrassed. So my question is, what makes you say that President Kalawa is popular when he failed to fill in Bahati? How do you expect for me to vote for him here in Garden when he failed in Bahati where he never took development there?
Thank you very much. Obviously, Honorable Kalawa has over-clarified on that one. Possibly you can answer in 1 minute before we continue with other calls.
Okay, in regards to this one, Mr. Chufi, sorry if I've I've pronounced the words correctly, the name. What we stand for as Democratic Party, we don't support by-elections. What I'm trying to say is, how much has Zambia spent on by-elections themselves from 2016 up to now? The money that we have spent on by-elections, we can use them to construct these industries. We can use them to make sure that we pay the retirees in this country. But the government has got this money on by-elections, yet it is failing to pay our retirees. It is failing to pay our workers. It is failing to pay our council workers. Where are we going as a nation? So Mr. Ali Kalawa and Democratic Party, including me, we in the Democratic Party, we didn't fill in a candidate in Bahati because we don't support by-elections. What we support at the moment is development. Leadership is about service. Do not be focused or envy to make sure that, no, I must be a leader. I must be in power. If we wanted power, if our main concentration was power, okay, now when you mleta shawati over liminike muloni, wanaimilika mulonium, tell me where they are today. But today in Democratic Party, we have survived up to this far. What I'm telling you at the moment is that we don't support by-elections, and as such, that is why we didn't make a candidate there. In coming to Mr. Plouds again, he said there are only 2 political parties in Zambia. That is UPND and DP. I agree that there are only 2 political parties, which is UPND and DP. But come August 2021, DP will carry the day.
Let me deliberate ask you this other question. In our constitution, there is a provision of a by-election. What will happen if you form government and there is a vacant in one of the seats?
Well, what will happen at that moment? The moment we go into office, Mr. Godwin, what we are going to do, because all this is supposed to be a choice of the Zambians, we are going to ask the people of Zambia, do you want by-elections to be taking place or not? Because at the moment, Zambia is losing more revenues on by-elections than when it comes to all these things. Look, ballot papers are mainly not printed in Zambia. The moment you say there is by-election, that man, instead of you strengthening the kwacha, you are paying countries like Japan, countries like China, countries like all those countries where they print these ballots. That is the money we are giving to them. Means Zambia is losing. What we need at the moment is to make sure that the money is used locally. If we are going to ask the people of Zambia to say, do you want by-elections or not, because we are losing this much and this much, the people of Zambia will speak through parliament. If the people of Zambia agrees that we don't want by-elections, then what we are going to do, Mr. Godwin, we are going to amend the constitution.
Let's pick this call. Good morning.
Good morning, Godwin.
Mr. Fanwa Mangala, you can go ahead with your comments.
Thank you very much. Good morning, guest.
Good morning, Mr. Mangala.
Thank you very much. I just have one question for you. I want to capitalize on the question Godwin asked you. There are over 1 million voters in Lusaka. And you answered that you take the entire 1 million to your party. How realistic are you on that issue? Try to balance your explanation with the reality. You will not focus on things that you know are impossible. People will not take you seriously. That's my piece of advice to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mangala Fanwell there. Let's pick this other call. Good morning.
Morning, Godwin.
Good morning. Your name again?
Gibson Nyerenda.
Gibson Nyerenda. Na imvera voice ati nyaba Gibson, but they are taba mind. Kule bwanji kwa baureni. Kwa
baureni kuliche mushe kuno.
Pitirizari tivere.
But yo pati yao na kwa festima yona ka. Bauleni kuno sionekera ku Bauleni.
Mukamba iti yo Democratic Party
sioneka nooneka ku Bauleni sizivika kuno. Okay, question yanga ni hii question imwezo mwafunsa manje wa Godwin hapa nakuti ngati in case kwankala by elections nshwali mpawa wa DP. Because when mazivira ine party ngati ile mpawa kuli konse kuli by election ndi mankala number 1. So awaswanga kamba zambofunsa abantu kufunsa kuti tishite participate or tufashite participate. So zikanta kuti then zivira ino patriotic front party yanga icha ngati kuli by election ndi mankala pa number 1. So wa DP yabo ivo pamene makamba sivomveka ve wakamba ivo ni boza yo wafuko kamba vindu vazona vakuti vantu vachita understand why nakamba so sunga kamba tikuli by election and then the ruling party sister participate. Doesn't want to branch bantu. So they are not serious what they are talking about now. They have to be serious. Na china ngofuti nikakambe kuti ati wakamba ati Mulusaka o mwemo wafunsa mu ma question mwenzo wafunsa kuti ati muri kapena ni zingata million bazatenga yonse aho munga isitawina ngo we are still remain with patriotic front tikali na PF because tayangana ma developmental programs amene panga ba PF vintu nivodula vintu va vili palevo ina ngo but tayangana like monga ine ndile muntu wa ma 80s so nyangana from 80s kubofika manja pa ma 2000 about 40 years amene ankala ko pa chalo pano nangana unit MMD patriotic front nabwa kusenzera abantu because ivi vintu vinango vivachitika paponso pa maezi yonse apa petina badwira ite sinavuonepa because amatama kisawinango ndipema drivers but matama kitaona manja apa so mu 2011 kufika manje mu 2021 mundipeta vuona vintu vinango muyonipi kweza pema like monga kwatu ise ku Bauleni kwetinkala tizina Leopard Road
yamene jabe mozi ukangera mkombo mwatu mbawule nimose completely madoti eka jabe malodi ya madoti but this time ukangera mbawule kuliba pamene uzajomba ematama eka so palivo timatacha tukasinavoneka koma kwambiri.
Thank you very much. Questions, contributions from the people. Mr. Lazarous, Simukoko, you can respond before we continue with the other set of calls.
Okay, allow me to start with Mr. Gibson Nyirenda. Mr. Gibson Nyirenda said DP is not seen in Bowlen. We will not be asking people on by-elections. Okay, that is he was questioning about by-elections and the like, meaning DP is not people and by-elections. How can we be chanting out? What I'm trying to say, Mr. Gibson, here is that not every by-election we need to ask the people. When we amend the constitution, it's once and for all. Meaning any by-election which will take place, provided the person who won that seat is from the UPND, it will be the UPND who are going to pick the representative. Provided in DIM of PFO is about DP, we are going to do so.
So you'll be seeking to amend that law, but again,
yes,
because you won't be alone. Of course,
yes.
The Patriotic Front are lucky because they are the majority there.
They are the majority now, but come 2021, these elections, they are not going to be the majority. And also, let me take this
yes, they are not going to be the majority.
Yes.
We don't know who the majority will be.
It will be DP now,
so, in an event that you don't have so much numbers to help you push this agenda, what are you going to do with the issue of by-elections?
I know that you are going to have numbers. Now, let us look at this. He said, I'm still with PF. That is Mr. Gibson again. But Mr. Gibson, you are still with PF. What I said, the number of registered voters in Lusaka, it's 1 million plus. You are not among the 1 million people. Mr. Gibson, I'm going also to permit you, if you drink beer, I'm not saying that you do, provided you do, get your friends you drink with. Ask them now when they are drunk to say, which political party are you going to vote in these elections? Bakalanda DP, Bakalanda President Adi Kalaba. So you saying in Bowlen there is no this, there is no that. We understand, Mr. Godwin. We understand. Every person will be able to make sure that they support what they are supporting. Even if there is no DP in Bowlen, they are going to reflect that there is no DP. Just because there is what the person is supporting another camp. So for me, I know what I'm talking about. Mr. Gibson, it is fine that you are still PF. But as we go in August, you are also going to turn your back from PF to DP. Believe you me, let's go to Mr. Mwangala saying 1 million voters are going to capture. The more realistic I need to be serious. For those people who are thinking that I'm not serious, for those people who are thinking that we are not serious as Democratic Party, let them wait for August 12. Allah, time will tell. Let us just wait for time. Immediately time comes, what I don't want is to see other political parties crying like babies. What I don't want to see as a person now, I don't want to see other political parties crying foul to say, how was DP won when they were just new? This is the first election they are participating in. You don't know. Jesus was not sent twice to conquer the world. He was just sent once, and he did that. All the things were done.
Okay, let's continue with the calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Give us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Comrade Mkosa.
Comrade Mkosa, you are too faint today.
What about now?
Okay, you can continue.
Yeah, Comrade Simukoko, how are you?
Thank you, Sandu.
Okay, sir. We are listening, and you are spot on. Zambians have suffered a lot, and Zambians need a party that will come and liberate them. But why is it that, don't you think of coming to the winning team, the UPND? Why don't you want to work with us? Eh? Let us save the people of Zambia. People of Zambia, if you allow the PF to go 5 years, to rule 5 years again after this election, I don't know what we'll be talking about in this country. Can you imagine now people are buying milimi at more than 100 kwacha? I can't even buy a bag of milimi. Yeah? How much is a packet of sugar? Even if they have built these roads, to me, my brother, these roads, they have not brought anything like helping the Zambian people. Okay? Because what we believe, development, when you bring development, imachafika kwa mavuto kwa bantu. But malodi kuchoka pene anabwerera pa mavuto yaenda yakulirako. Manje nishi development ilipati. So let us work together, my brother. Let us work together, UPN and DP. I think if we work together, we can do something. We can help. We can do something. We can help our country to
thank you very much, Mr. Mkosa. Let's pick the other call here. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Mavukashani.
Twabuka fye bwino bana mwaba.
Our name is Jessica.
Jessica, how are you, Jessica, after a long time?
How are you?
Very fine. You can go ahead with your comment.
Munishana mabali mu studio.
Barishana wasiashi.
Wino, wagodini shufika, nina wakasa maine.
Muleta mbapa?
Ni pas Facebook fie. Ala nalimiona tichalo bali wa myaba PF.
Pitiri shede tufwe.
Mkwaya wana tufo balela nda mkwai. No mande fo kube pushako. Mushefa balela ndefa kesa bomba kesa mkula bomsya magiki. Bakala nda sati abla kataka abla fiachitika. Kyo balela nda timose mukaba ma industries boma constituencies. Bakala nda sati uko basira lubula mandevu kube industry abako. Bakala eta shana ma industries. Balela nda how are they going to bring industries? Not balela nda tukastefi. If balela ndo mwana ina tunafiranda. Tunalanda tikesa tipisho bunga. How? Pandu ifela PF balebo mana tusimona. Na ifo fwebe ne fwe mazambians tufile twa ibikirisha hapo. Kuno kwanseluka kuno kumyesu kuno kondelanda kuno. Bali tupangira tamaki yo bambi balelanda ati yo bakala ali emisebo. Nomba ifwe iyo tuleta sha. Kuna naisha kuno magodwini. Tulalima. Naisha mukulima kunoka. Tulalima so that tulima tuti na tulima mataba. But tatwale kwa nisho kutwala ma products kutauni mlandu wa road ububi namba pale panga nsebuka kayambi road bale panga icho tuleta sha tufura se twayibikisha pefobene network na batubikira ba PF echo nde kwanisha nokulata ba Facebook kuyunza radio ko kulusako ko echo nabera na flu na tumandera na nokulanda kali network babikire ba PF icho kwano sitwaleko kutasha icho ntoto tatamwene
mukupwisha ba Jessica
kwale mwene system kwa yesendela nifoko ba PF na babomba ukubomba nipano no talaka bombere finsiose pamkumo inkono mibalela nda tulenda ifwe so aponka isakulusaka nkaya kuma order ndamkoda mametiro zina yakupangire mipando konje kuma countries inkono mina iponda nisisimu fwe tufile se twayibombesha fwebe neseka nati balebe kaula dipek ngabasa kesa kuti ama schools bakulire ba PF ya nono ama hospitals bakulire ya nono aho today mana development na mandini na pachinga pena aba alikonga babombelesi ngatatuli pano ngepotuli so tufebe twayibombesha fwebe.
Thank you very much Jessica Einstein na all right, that's Madam Jessica there. She was in Chazanga, but she has moved to the Copper Belt. Is it Copper Belt or Northern Province? She's following via Facebook. Hello, good morning.
Yebo na
mwami kalenga mwa ukabwanji
awe ta ukabwino ise bwanji balwende mu studio umo
kono muri bwanji wa mwami kalenga
awe ta ukabwino inde awe tambira bote mwakamba hivyo bachako nacheninga kambe pwene nchakuti problem ya ma politicians hivi bakapani kufuna che ni system ya campaign kutuba mimosi niziba maona ka landi system yakuti nikeza ki lelo mukonde ma government amine ilipo then msta prep government inachokapo neno ngasema panga sense maona ka mwengo yani kila mwana wasa umoya iba mwana wasa wizanka bwanji bantu ndopuza maskulu kuna libati bwanji benzo sanka bantu bajabo bosa ukanjibe zenda ku payunza kwa sponsor bati bogonso ngati mwabwela kumbuyo kuja muzate ngati kweze ma complain si muri ba mwana wasa maona ka although economy nali bwino but still bantu na kusala kupunzira icho chenjebo ntema na kuziba icho bantu banali benchito maona ka nchito nali mjamsoweto mjabanali kuba chabe ende banali kuba kugwira bakuchaya benzo wajiba na matu bakujiba matu we kwatu nokuza enda ku state house kuliba mwana waso kabauza ati bajoni unapisha mstreet babini unali profesa nchito ndiba njiba kwatu tendo lenge saso ni chani maona ka that means patai manager ili kenga kama nchakuti ene government kulibenda ngoni bakongera nayo bena ngusa bakongera nayo hivi mteme wa mwana wasa kulibenda ngoni bakongera na government wa mwana wasa bena ngusa nali kongera nayo ba opposition party mjabenzo preaching abwanji kubantu message on tula kwa message abwa benzo kamba tiyai mwana wasa tenti msupport mwana wasa sababu ndio kamba talepela mtose phone maona ka so chazona nchakuti ene government is na party amene ingachite so imoro mukamba tiya takabwesa uchi mtakabwesa kuti kulibe ichimodzimodzi lumabwera akapedza kana wese ngati mabwerapo ndimwe maona ka so ine nkuona kwa neno kuti politicians vamalira macoin mukama vakambokamba so that vantu vamvere bwino ati yayi ndiyo menti zavotera but takamfakapo naye kuti vamene vanhu zake vezomusapota kuti vakhala against naujamene alipo so
mukusirizisa vamwami
inde so mkusacheninga kamenti chakuti pf yasevenza ndikakuibweza ku 2021 12 August kwamkwambiri.
Thank you very much. 0211 29 34 35. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Chikuwawe, calling from Chazanga.
You can go ahead with your comments, sir.
PF government is the government who have done so well for this nation. No other government does that except UNIP. MMD 20 years destroyed this country. This country became dilapidated. Everywhere they were potholes. Starting from there at Yunza, you can compare the time of MMD and the time of PF. You see the difference. Just come out from there, and about 2 kilometers, you are going to see, or 1 kilometer, there at University of Zambia. This is the government which have worked so hard with the President Edgar Chagwalum. No any other president from MMD you can compare with Edgar Lungu. Now DPP, look at this, the one who are saying that Bhutan is a bad constitution. Now look at what they are saying. Now I've been observing this opposition political party that they are just the fond of jealous. All those who are in that document, people they were criticizing. As that now, this is the one which they were saying. Now, if we can have such democracy, which you can just criticize, but you know that this is a good thing, it's bad for us as Zambians. Let us see when it's good, it's good. Now, if you are saying that infrastructure development is bad for you, what are you going to do for this nation? The most of the part of this country is the bush. Go to the farm and start cultivating. Everything's bad for you. DPP here in Zambia, we don't know that part. Even in the council, I don't know if they're going to fill the council here in Mpurungwa 23. I thank you for doing.
Thank you very much. Let's pick the last two. Then I allow my guest to respond and we conclude the program. Hello, good morning.
Boss.
Yes, boss.
Mauka.
Atauka chabe bwino tipasere zina na kwa mene mtumira.
Zina kulibe inango koma mwana wa makumbe ndeuti ni makumbe wa mene.
You can continue, sir.
Boss mauka bwanji mstudio.
Mauka bwanji boss.
Tauka chabe bwino. Boss ndi mtio paimu. Kusense ni studio so isetina njara kuno. Under PF government. Kubura kutopic boss mazambiani tikambere mabuvuzela bamene bakungotanda ola kuzindu ziri bwino bamanga maskulu bamanga ma hospital muri ba mwana muri ba mwana wasa na muri basata ivi makondo mvotira boboka izenzeko inkono ngushedia umene nzeri apa manje mukamba kuti mambo namizira corona ndiye agesa economy kendi kabe mafat pamene tisapota leaders bathu aba bezi bakudya bwino kendi vyangane kuti bushe muri emwe mdinde emenezo kabira so ungadye muri emwe nzeri so kuchoka pa 35 kuti fike pa 200 minango unga last year apa maji uri mwa 140 kama ajira muzikamba kuti PF service na ukawala wamene ulipo mwandani mwamene bade mena mabilioni hata ikamuzati ati government is interest so pamene tikita ma advise ma government yapi senti kambe bintu pamene vizatandiza mairo mazo tikabalekerera abantu aba bazati onongera ziko impact onongera kudala abana bamanga misevo sendemento zolipira misevo kutoka pamene uliri kwenda pamene uko so tikakamba kuti Zambia ivutika tifu na maloya hapa tifu na economist kuti ba control economy ba control ali yenza Zambia
mukoserezesa wa makumbe.
In conclusion nikutsani encourage mazambia mukambera mavuvuzera bamene aba mukapanga mistake amene munapanga 2016 muzamba kudya bana.
Thank you very much. 0211293435. We pick our last caller. Then I allow my guest to respond. Hello, good morning.
Mwaka bwanji boss.
Tauka chabe bwino mkamba na bandani futi mpaki ground.
Bali musudo mwaka bwanje.
Kuno mwaka bwanje.
Mavuto chabe amene batuletera ba PF mukamba na balezi batumena mu Lusaka. Chamene tunga kambe ko ba boss chita continue kuza mazambiani. Aba chabe mamene bakamba nibokuta kapena bagona na nja silaze ise twame tunaambira kutuma makola kulibebe ya metu nankala po nanja nga pezerero wa jumpira kulibebe siwambe kawo kintu chamene ninga kambe ko ba boss mamene mukambira kitani continue aba bantu bafunka bakaende batu sausa country ya mukantri ya Mzambia bayo nonga kuyipa maningi country inangu vukucharo kuinangu banadabo kuti bangapereke makondo anaita kudare expert.
Wow, we seem to have lost that caller, but we have to conclude the program. Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, so many comments coming from the followers.
Okay, allow me to start with the comrade Ngosa, if that is the name. He said Zambians need a party which is the winning party, the UPND. For me, I don't know which criteria he's using to say UPND is the winning team. For me, as I'm saying, DP as I'm speaking, when you look at the Bible, Mr. Godwin, the Bible in the book of Amos 3:3 is clear to say two cannot walk together unless they agree. What am I trying to say? DP is not going into an alliance with any political party. However, those political parties with progressive ideas are just like the ones which we have in DP are welcome. If the UPN wants to work with the DP, they are welcome. They are free to come. If any other political party is free to work with us, let them come. But us working with people who are going to distract our vision, it won't work. Because other political parties have not spoken about industrialization. They have not spoken about debt swap, cancelling off the loans of civil servants. They have not spoken about reducing the dollar. So if we go into that political party, it means we are going to follow their agenda. But those who think that our agenda is progressive, and indeed it is progressive, they should join us. And then going to Madam Jessica, Madam Jessica, who is currently in Mpika, which is northern province. Madam Jessica was speaking in Bemba. Allow me to mention to him to say, ushakwa tolu se, pamwaono wa munankwe, no wakwe uyofi. And again, ponanko anke ni munshi ya chimuti. Ero umfweko impundushide pona muntu wekere munshi ya chimuti. Ero nokofyala teka la peshiria. What am I trying to say? Madam Jessica, you can't know what the Zambians are going through when you are in PF, because now mkwete. Zambians are suffering today. Zambians, you don't know what they are going through. Today you can afford to move from that Mpika to come to Lusaka. It doesn't mean that every person is free to do so. Of course, you have also said every country is facing economic hardships. Let us look at Botswana. Botswana, which got independence recently than Zambia. Botswana is doing fine. Let us look at South Africa, which got independence in 1994. Today, abantu nga balwala munono mo benwa Madam Jessica, since mwaba MPF but nincho mwala chinja after program mwala ku DP. Nga mwalwala, nga mwalishi bikwana bamoba momo ine mwaba kumibula ba mitwala ku India. Kumibula ba mitwala nangu ni mu South Africa mudamwine. But if mu GP tule mieba okutira immediately nga twawina ifwe tukalabula mama students abali pa unza abali pa CBU ukuya ku China ukuya ku India ukuya ku South Africa ukumaking sure ati bambo okusambirira fama doctors ba ku India balesambirira ero twababwesha mu Zambia nga twababwesha mu Zambia ayali amanani kane ama experience obakwata munani kane mulya mu India tukayakwata na ifwe bene muno turakuri bachikubabe benaba na bena balera ndati no isifyonse Mzambia na babomba buno kuri infrastructure teti tutashe sintu esyo balebo mfyo kusendera mwempia imishine misebo baleranda ayena ma infrastructures baleranda imbalondera ma companies yali chiro kuba twala kule pa mtengo wachipa nangulo kwa bulo mtengo but bali keno kuba twala tukongole chisho afwairo kuya mukukongola bantu bali chiba tukwa bulo kongola teti bali kuba tukwa bulo kongola tapale fyo benga chita but ifo mudzipi tulerando kwebati ngatwaleta ma industries kwacha ikabwera ngatwaleta making sure twabika training center muno eya ma student mapaunza pasi byukwamba okupange misebo shesu impya tashakulaya mu China lelo mulebula abantu ba mu China ebo muleleta muno ngamwabula abantu ba mu China mwabaleta muno chire pilibulo ko batinga mwadi vali pila impia chile ya mchina tamwakasa ngo mchinese na atanta mapadi line yapazana ako ati ndecha deposit impia tamwaka basange bacha deposit mu mabanki yabo nishimulebule impia chidesho muleba pera muleba bwese shakulya ayama ballot papers otrande ot printing that printing na Mzambia yafuma mufyalo fimbi icho chile pilibulo kwebati impia shonse chile fuma muno Mzambia chile mufyalo fimbi ifonga twaranda ture kafunya kwa by election nishiture fat impia ture posa vepa kwamba pa general elections not pa by elections because impia Zambia yaposa mufyalo fimbi kuma by elections shingi isho impia ngatwali bonzo kula
as you conclude Mr. Lazarous
fionsefi as I conclude muri life muri ba Democratic Party muri life muri ba Madam Judith Kabemba vice president besu elo futi muri na life muri ba president Ali Kalaba join and Democratic Party pandio mo bakamyumfwa bana mushongi tefo tudelanda papa efishinka leke mwileke fintu ifya bipa fimikubule omutima mwirenga corruption ingire mu mitwe echo lekeni tubombele chalo bakaunda nga bali selfish baskota wina nga bali selfish ba Arthur wina nga bali selfish pano tulelanda nga tuchiri muwelenski lelo bali biulile ifisuma bafivika side pali ilyanjite kwa tukatuchule pali nomba pantu buchinda miwaba mububonzi nga filafile wa president wa Tanzania na abafwa bonse balelila tabale celebrate lekeni tubombele chalo kwa tina abantu bonza bakafyaru okuya kuntanshi bakala imini na pafishinka notice tulemona lesa mipale bonse na misha muchibote cha mfumu emkwaitwa totera.
Thank you very much, and of course that's where we end today's edition of the Lusaka Star Radio Magazine program. I was hosting Democratic Party Lusaka Deputy Youth Chairperson for Lusaka Province, Mr. Lazarous Simukoko, and we were discussing national governance. Until next time when we bounce back, shalom, shalom, and enjoy your day.
Hail the King of Kings. Every day I will rise, every morning I will sing, every evening I will lift my voice in praise. Oh Lord, sleep over my soul.
The views expressed on the Lusaka Star are not in any way the radio station's style. Give the radio.
Different spin to radio. This is 91.7 FM.
May I have your attention, please?
Setting the pace. Setting the pace. Setting the pace. And winning the race. 91.7. Real radio.
Excellent.
Minyezi yapita posa chedwapa anthu ambiri mdziko la pansi pamodzi ndi mdziko la Zambia avutika ndi matenda ya coronavirus.
Pamene muganizira mozitetezera na banja yanu pa nthawi ino osaiwala zakuzichingiriza kukhala na mimba nichofunika kuchita nthawi zonse.
Ntchito za umoyo pathandizo pa zokhala na mimba zikaliko mzipatala koma nichofunikira